Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so before we go ahead, I think if Rajesh, if you could just give me a brief about yourself because we missed chatting up over the last session. So I know about Anusha and Sai Kiran. I'd like to know about you. Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, I'm Rajesh and I'm pursuing my master's at UMKC.
Okay.
My background is computer science.
Oh, great. That's nice.
Mhm. Uh, and that's it. I'm looking forward to learn something in
Okay.
this
Okay.
particular technology.
Great. Great. So I think out of the three participants, so Sai Kiran is also Sai Kiran, you are also from the same university.
Are you from the same? No, he's from
No,
a different
we are from
uni.
different.
Okay. So which university are you into?
UCM, University of Central Missouri.
Okay. 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 Fine. And I assume Manusha is also from a different university, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. No, anyways, that's not a concern at all. I just want to understand what is your brief profile. So, okay, let's get started. So, first of all, are you guys able to open up the SAS Studio the way you can see it on my screen?
Can you just give me a minute, please? I'm
Sure.
just logging in.
Take your time. So as I took you through it last time, you have to log in into SAS.com, and then you just go to the link of SAS Studio and click on it. It will open up into your browser.
Mm,
Sai and Rajesh, I hope you have opened it.
No, we are.
Okay, great. Let me know once it's done, then we get started. Yeah, is it open?
I think I forgot my password.
Okay, no,
Sorry.
don't worry. No, not to worry. You just reset it. You can just say forgot password and you can reset it. Don't worry about it. Rajesh and Sai, how about
We are
you?
also working on that.
Oh, okay. Not to worry. So once you reset it this time, you can just you can just make sure you remember the password. You don't have
Yeah.
the hassle of like entering it every day.
Yeah, you want me to go to the SAS Studio?
Yes, just click on the SAS Studio link.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you see a similar screen as you see on my screen?
Can you once show your screen, Uma?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
So, are you able to see a similar screen on your?
Yeah, the same similar screen, but it shows me enter your code here, not the drag item to here to open.
Okay, then you can just close it. You know, you can just click close. What you can do is can you share your screen with me?
Yeah.
Uh,
On the left hand side, you have a rectangular screen box.
Yeah.
Just click on that. Okay, so yeah, just minimize this and show me your browser. Okay, open that window where you have opened your SAS Studio. I still can't see it. So
You
this
can't.
is the yes, now I
Yeah.
can see. Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is a place. This is fine. I hope Anusha, I hope you have also opened this.
yes, yes, I got it.
Okay, great. So let's get started from here then. Well, I think let's get started from the very beginning, assuming we didn't do the class that we did earlier. Okay. So this is how your SAS interface looks like. So this is SAS Studio, right? So as I was discussing, there is SAS Enterprise Guide, there is SAS Base version. So the look and feel of these different versions will be slightly different. Okay, like in real time, what you'll be working mostly on is SAS based PC software, right? So it will not look like this. It will be looking slightly different. You know, the placement of these different tabs and different options and all will be placed differently. But you don't have to worry about it. Once you start using it, you'll get a hang of how similar they are. It is just the way they look is slightly different. Okay. So what you can see on my screen here is you have different things like you have server files and folders, then you have a tab for tasks, then you have a snippets tab, and then a library tab. Okay, so these are the four different tabs we have here, and here we have different options of zooming in, of controlling which window we see. Okay, and coming back to this, let's see where do we write our code. So in order to open a code window, what you have to do is on the left hand side corner you have this icon, right? This
Yeah.
at star. So click here and click on SAS program. So when you come here, you will see it says a new SAS program, right? So the shortcut for that is F4, the function key. Just click on SAS program, and this is where a new program window opens. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the place where we'll be writing our codes, and this is the place where we'll be, editing them and executing them. We can also save this program window. We'll see how we can do that a little later. Okay. So if you see here, this is the code window. So let's see what are the different to SAS. So before that, let's just do a quick review so that even Rajesh gets onto the same page as we are. So yes, can anybody tell me what is SAS?
Statistical analysis system.
Yes, it's nothing but a statistical uh, analytical system,
Okay,
right? So, but as of now, it is not called as statistical analysis system, but it is just SAS stands for SAS. It's no more an abbreviation for something, right? But as you look at this, you understand that it is nothing but this particular software or system helps us store large amounts of data, and it helps us do a lot of statistical modeling on it, right? So before we anybody even gets into the stage of trying to do certain statistical modeling or analysis on it, it's very important that we understand how to work on the data to start off with. Correct. So that is what we'll be seeing here in this course, that is SAS programming, mainly deals with what we'll be doing is we'll be understanding SAS codes. Okay, so we'll be seeing how do we write SAS codes in order to manipulate our data, in order to clean the data that we are working on, and in order to get the data in the desired shape, the way we want it to be, before we go ahead with any kind of analysis. Okay, so that's about SAS. So coming back to this. So what are the important? So what we'll be using here is SAS Studio version, which is for uh, academics. That is for learning purpose, right? But you also have SAS EG, which is Enterprise Guide. So as I told you, did anybody manage downloading it?
Not yet.
No, not to worry. So you can just download it whenever possible.
Okay.
And what the way to help you is you will understand the difference in the look and feel of it. you know
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time you will see that the codes that you execute here in studio will run the same way in your SAS EG. So fundamentally there is no difference on that front, on the
Mm-hmm.
coding front, right? So you'll get a hang of that, so you can just do it in your leisure time. Okay, so SAS Studio and SAS EG for academics, that will be seen here, but in real time what you will be usually using is SAS based PC version, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh, so let's get started. So in this, what are the important windows in SAS? So what are the windows that you see here? And before I even go ahead, so if you see every code I'm writing in forward slash asterisk and asterisk under forward slash
Mm-hmm.
again. I'm writing it in between these two marks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? That is nothing but commenting the codes. Okay, so this is a program window, right? This is a code window. So whatever code I write here, it will be executed and it will give us the result, right? But if I want to give some description to the code, if I want to make some notes around the code, which I don't want it to be executed, right? So that is when we just comment a code. So any notes that you're making, like in English language, normal language, not the programming language, in the normal language, whatever you're writing, you make it, you comment it using this symbol, a forward slash, asterisk, asterisk, and a forward slash again. So whatever you write in between this are comments. These are not the codes that will be executed. Okay, is that part clear?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's see what are the important windows in SAS. So we have a code window, then we have a log window, then we have a results window, right? And then we have server files and folders, right? And then we have tasks and snippets, right? And though you can't see it directly here, you also have something called as a project tree or a process flow, and then you have library. So now let us see what each one of these parts do. Okay, so starting with the code window. So which is the code window here?
Mm. F4.
Yeah, so when you press F4, this window opened up, right? The location where we are.
Yeah.
The place we are currently writing these notes is a code window. Can you see the code written here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is a code window. So what do you do in a code window? Code window is used to write and edit codes. Okay. So all the codes that you want to write or you want to edit some code, that is what will happen in this particular place. So this is a location where you write and edit your SAS code, right? Any idea, any guess what is a log window?
Mm. No.
Yes, Rajesh, Sai?
Yeah, no idea.
Okay, we'll come back to that then. What is the results window? This will be simpler.
I
Mm,
think after the.
execution of the code,
Uh-huh.
whatever we get.
Correct. So result window is nothing but an
Okay,
output window,
okay. Mhm.
right?
I think
Output is
log window is the window where execution takes place, right?
yeah, you're somewhere close.
Okay.
Log window is a location. What happens is, in a code window, we have written the code. Okay, so it's a place
Okay.
we have written the code. And on top, you have this log, which is empty, result also, which is empty, right?
Oh, okay.
So once you execute a code, whatever result we get, output we get, it is displayed in this results window. Fine,
Okay.
it's displayed here. So, but what is this log window? So when I click here, you will see it has got errors, warnings, and notes.
Okay.
So what happens is when you run a code, the code, in case if there are some errors in the code, then they will be listed in this log window.
Mhm.
Okay. If there are no errors, then in your log window will still be populated. It will be displaying the amount of time consumed in running the code, what code was executed, how much of time did the CPU take, how much real time did it take to execute the code, how many lines of data were processed, right?
Okay.
So what did the code exactly do? That is what is displayed in your log window. So what your log window has is it displays warnings, notes, and errors, if any, on executing the code. Correct? So that's what your log window does, right? So that's right. So these three are pretty simple and straightforward tabs. So now let's come to server files and folders. Okay. So this is a very important part here as far as SAS is concerned. But again, we'll just come back to this. We'll talk about tasks and snippets. Okay. You will see on the left hand side you have two tabs, that is task tab and a snippet tab. Correct. So in this particular course, we will not be touching upon anything under this task and snippets. Why? For a simple reason, because these are built-in utilities. So if you look at here, you look at these tasks. So you have this data, statistics, econometrics, forecasting. You have different tabs, right? So when I click on data, you will see that this list attribute, characterize data, list data, so on and so forth. So basically, these are point and click options. So let's say
Okay.
you have a data set already into SAS and you click on sort data, then you just click next, 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 and your data will get sorted. Okay, you
Okay.
don't have to write a code for this, right?
Okay.
So this is something you can always play around and figure out for yourself. Okay, so this is what you can just whenever you have some time, you can just play around and see how this works. But this is not what we'll be touching upon. What we'll be doing rather is we'll be writing the code in order to do the same thing. That is what this whole course is about. Okay. Similarly with snippets, snippets again are like built-in codes again, like how to import a CSV file, how to import an XLX file. So this is like a cheat code for you. So let's say in case in class I'll teach you how to import a CSV file, right? But you want to try and import an XLX file. So what you can do is you can just click on this. You will see when you just double click, you will see it will show you a code, a sample code of importing the XLX file. Okay, so these things I would like you to just check them out on your own in your leisure time. Okay, this is like just point and click options. This has got nothing, nothing involving writing the code and editing it and stuff. But yes, it will be a good help for you in case you want to use it as a reference guide. Okay, so that's about tasks and snippets. So tasks and snippets are nothing but built-in code, um, point and click execution. Okay, so this I would like you to just check out whenever you have some time to do so. Right. So now coming back to server files and folders, or rather, let's just go to project tree and process flow. So if I go to my visual programmer here, yeah, okay. So I go back to my asterisks here, and can you see a process flow here?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I click on that, it will open one more window, which is a process flow window, which is empty as of now. Okay. But what will happen is that whatever programs we write, right? Let's say we write a code to import a data, right? Let's say we have Excel data and we want to import it into SAS, right? So we write a code to import the data set. So what will this project flow will show is in this, it is nothing but a graphical representation of your codes. Okay, it will basically show that XYZ Excel file is being imported into SAS, into a particular location. Okay, so that's what your process flow shows. So it's nothing but a graphical representation of the project. Okay, so coming to the next important thing, that is servers and files. So this is pretty important here. Let's just discuss this in detail. Okay. So as you see, we have servers, files and folders here. And you see I have my content here, which has got a lot of other folders, which has got some, SAS code files, which has got some text files, and then which has got certain Excel files, certain case study files, so on and so forth. Right? Can anybody tell me where are these files located?
I think in the desktop.
Okay. Anybody else? Sai, Rajesh?
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Where do you think these files are located?
These my content files, I think wherever we show any particular folder,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay, let me just help you. Let me just right click on one of the files. Let's say external files. I go to properties.
Okay.
So when I open properties, can you see the location?
Yeah. Home.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
basically, all these folders and files are located on the server. They are not on
Okay.
my system.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so even in your case, whatever files are here onto your left hand side, these files and folders, let me right click and say property here. So these files and folders are located on the server.
Right.
Okay, these are not there on your system. So currently when you're using your SAS Studio, you are not you are not using any data from your system, from your desktop or from your E drive, C drive, D drive or anywhere.
Okay.
If you want to use something, you will have to upload it first here,
Okay.
right?
Whatever the
So
data
for
we
example,
need to upload it in the server first, right?
correct, correct.
Yeah.
So what you do is, for example, I want to upload something here. So what I do is I right click this and I have the option called upload files.
Okay.
Okay, so I click on upload file, then this is the location, so I choose file. So if I want to choose any of these, any of the files that are there here,
Okay.
SAS file, I want to choose any of the files, I open it and then I can upload it.
Okay.
Now I click on upload this file, Excel file, will get uploaded.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
Okay.
So you must understand that this is on the server. Whatever we are doing, even the code that's being executed, like everything is happening, this location is on the server. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, but in real time when you're working, you might be working on a local server of that company, or you might be using it onto your personal system only, right? It depends on what particular software you have,
Yeah.
right? But currently, all these files and folders are on the server and not on the system, like on the personal system, right? So this is a server files and folders. So on the left hand side is a list of all the folders and files that you're having, right? Files and folders. So, okay. So let's come to the next part, which is one of again very important part, that is libraries. So there's a section here called as libraries. Okay. So and you see when I click on libraries, you have like a list of them. You have GFK, maps, SAS, SAS data, SAS health, SAS user, so on and so forth. Okay. So before we get into what these libraries are, can anybody tell me what is a library?
I think which supports the in the execution of the code, something like that.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Compiles.
Yeah, somewhere right. Yeah. Anybody else? I want all three of you to answer. What do you understand by a library? Generally, it doesn't have to be in SAS or anything.
Mm, Group of information.
So the first one I heard was uh, helps in executing codes, right, Anusha?
Yes, some stuff.
Group of information. Yes.
Yeah.
Hari, Rajesh. I mean, who was the one who answered? The one
Yeah.
other than me.
You can. Uh, you can say for. Yeah, that's it.
What is it that comes to your mind when you hear library?
Storage of data, or I mean,
Okay, storage of data. Okay, yeah. So now let's go and see as to what libraries. You all of you are like somewhere right in your own way. Okay, library, as the term says, is nothing but a collection of certain things, right? In physical world, when you say a library, it's a collection of books, right? I'm sure that's where you came up with information, group of information, or storage of data. So library here is nothing but a collection of SAS data sets of files. Okay? So it does not deal with the codes, or it does not deal with any of the predefined built-in codes or anything, but it is just collection of SAS data sets of files. Okay, so can anybody tell me now what is when you say SAS data set? What is the difference between like a file and a SAS data set? Any guess?
uh, files are the what we upload, and
Mm-hmm.
data sets are particular with a which are the same set. I mean, they have certain form which have not been
Mm-hmm.
which cannot be changed.
You're right in a certain way, yeah. So, as you're right, what happens is, let's say we have a CSV file, which is a comma separated version, right? Uh, then you have an Excel file, which is, you know what's an Excel file, right? And then you probably have some other different software files, right? So all these files are like based on they can't be open, like you can't open an Excel file into a Word doc. Am I right? And similarly, you can't open a Word doc in an Excel format, right? These are different file formats. Similarly, any data or any file wherein the data is saved in such a way that it can be read within SAS, is called as a SAS dataset. Okay, so
Okay.
to make it more simple for you, so let's say I have an Excel workbook, right? So let's say I have Excel a workbook. In that, I have data which has got like it has got just 4 rows of data, which has got information of the student names and the course they have taken. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so but that is in Excel format, correct? So if I want to read the same file in SAS, then I have to import it into SAS.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So when I import it into SAS, now the format of the file from Excel has been changed to SAS file. Okay, so now that is a SAS data set, right? So library is nothing but a collection of these different types of SAS data sets. I will just give you a sneak peek into it. Let's say, for example, I open this library called maps. Okay, so in the SAS Studio, you have built-in libraries and built-in data sets. For a simple reason, this is designed for learning purpose, right? So in order to make it easy for people who are trying to learn SAS, they have built-in data sets here on which you can work. Okay, so if I when I click on the maps library, I have different country names here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I open Asia, right? So this is a SAS data set. Can you see here?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so this is what we call as a SAS data set. So it's got certain columns and it has got certain rows of data, right? So you can scroll it both the ways,
Okay.
right? So it's got some continent ID, continent, segment, density, so on and so forth, right? So this is a sample SAS data set. So let's say we open Belarus. So here again it's got certain columns and certain rows of data, right? So this is a simple SAS dataset. This is how a SAS dataset would look like. So as you see, these are all SAS datasets. Okay.
Okay.
So library is nothing but a collection of SAS files or SAS datasets. Similarly, in SAS help also you will see it's got a lot of datasets here. Correct? Like there's something called as city day.
Okay. What is the difference between a data set and the file that we upload?
So the difference is in the format of it, right?
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
file that I uploaded, like here, external files when I click. So this is a .csv file. Can you see
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
that I've uploaded? So I've uploaded a SAS file also. So extension for SAS file is .sas7b dash,
So, okay.
right? So I have uploaded an Excel file that is XLX, correct? And
Okay.
here I have uploaded certain text files, file 1, file 10, these are .txt files, correct?
Okay.
So if I want, when I want to import it, when I want to do certain analysis on this, or I want to see what is there in this, then I have to import it into SAS,
Okay.
right? So when I import it into SAS, then it becomes a SAS dataset which I can open here and I can do whatever further analysis and manipulation that I want to do,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
SAS library is nothing but a collection of SAS datasets and files. Going ahead from here, there are two types of library. So which are these two types? One is a permanent library and the other is a temporary library. So what do you think is a permanent library and what do you think is a temporary library?
Mm. The data which is stored in the server is
Mm-hmm.
called permanent library, I think.
Yeah, you're somewhere right. Yeah.
And no idea about the temporary one.
Okay,
Or
no
the
problem.
thing which we are working on it, something like that.
Somewhere somewhat close. Good. Yes, Rajesh?
Yeah. I go with her.
Okay. Sai,
Yeah.
you will go
Same.
with him?
Yeah.
Okay, so permanent library is actually a library wherein you save any data set, it is saved permanently there. Okay, So even if you were working on the desktop SAS, that is like if you're working locally also, if you save any library, any data set into a permanent library, then it is permanently saved. What does it mean? It means that, okay, let's say in a today session, we save a certain data set into a permanent library. We'll close the session like let's say in another hour, and when we come back tomorrow, we will still have the data set there. Okay, so it is there unless and until you delete it explicitly, the data set is going to be there in that library. Okay, so that's a permanent library. And temporary library obviously is opposite of it, wherein you save something on a temporary library, it is going to be available only in the current session. So I will work on it today, and we'll close the session in some time. So when I log in tomorrow, I will not have it there. The dataset will not be there. It will get automatically deleted once your session closes. Okay. So let's say we have certain dataset in temporary library, and I close it right now. And I close the session right now, or accidentally I get signed out, and I sign in again, and even then my dataset is not going to be there in temporary library. It will get deleted automatically. Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
I have a question.
yes, please.
When this is not convenient for us, why is there? Why we can only use the
Yeah,
permanent one, right?
yeah. So what happens is, so there are times when you don't want to have save every date file. Like you have a X file, which is a file in stage one, and you want to make some changes onto a file, and you want the result to be like file in stage two, right? But in the process of going to that final format file, you might create some intermittent data, right? You might, so
Okay.
let's say if I ask, if I let me give a very simple example. So let's say if you have a data set which has got like numbers 1 2 3, like 1 to 10, okay, and then you are expected to do a certain computation, like if x is the number, then you're expected to add x plus 24 into then x minus 15 raised to 4, some computation like this, minus or divide by x minus x plus 2. If there is some equation which you have, so in one data set you have x, right? And in the resultant data set you are expected to get y.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say this is data set 1, and this is in data set 2, you are expected to get the result of this. Okay, so what you might do is in the process of going from x to y, you might create like x ds 1.1, you know, which has got x plus 14, right?
Oh, okay.
You might you want to create 1.2, which has got so you say this is a equals this, and then you want to create a into you know
Okay,
this
okay.
part.
I got it.
So intermittent data sets you don't want to save permanently. Right? You want to save only DS2 permanently and DS1 obviously. So these you can just temporarily put them into your temporary library because you're not bothered. You want them only in the current session,
Yeah, okay.
right? So such intermittent data, if you want to save, you should use a temporary library. Okay, that was a good question. So permanent library is the data sets are saved permanently. Available across sessions. That's important. They are available across sessions
Okay.
unless and until stated explicitly. Okay. And temporary library data sets are saved temporarily, available only in the current session. Okay. So let's say the session that I'm running now, okay, I save some data set into my temporary library, alright? And once a code, like for today's class is done, let's say the class will be done in 10 more minutes, I'll not close the session. And let's assume my internet connectivity is also good, my system also doesn't get switched off. It is the session is kept on like till tomorrow's session. So tomorrow, when I see, will I still be having my data set in the temporary library?
No.
Yeah, you'd close the
Can you repeat
system
the
or
statement?
Yeah, the thing is, so now currently I'm here, right? Okay, let's say
yeah.
now I've got some work, so I'm going to leave my system as it is. So I'm not
Okay.
going to log it off. My internet connection is going to be there. My system
Okay.
is getting charged, so it is not getting closed. But
Mm.
what I do is I leave it as it is, and tomorrow directly for tomorrow's class I'll come and I just open this like this,
Mm.
and just continue from here. So in that case, will my dataset be available in my temporary library?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because that is still a current session, right?
Mm. Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
so the thing is, data sets are there only for the current session. So the moment you close it, it is gone. But if it's kept open and running, then it's going to be there.
Mm.
Okay. So that's a permanent library and temporary library. The most important part here is work is the only temporary library in SAS. Okay. So if you see, you have work library here.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the only temporary library. The rest of them, the rest all libraries are permanent libraries.
Okay.
So obviously that is the reason that when I open, I have data set to see, right? So if I double click on work, I don't have anything in this
Mm-hmm.
because it's a temporary library. So work is the only temporary library here, right? And before we go to writing codes, just one more important thing, that is user-defined library. So SAS gives us an option to create a user-defined library. So what do you understand by user-defined library? So what happens is, like, let's say I'm doing this class, correct? So we will be having certain specific data sets that we'll be working on for this class, correct? And let's say I'm having one more class after yours. So the data sets that are being used for that batch is different, right? So I don't want the data sets to get mixed up. So I will create a different library for you guys, right? I'll say, like, the number 4th batch library, and I'll create some other library for the other batch.
Okay.
Okay, so that is how that's why it's called as a user-defined library. Now I have a question here. So a user-defined library is going to be a permanent library or a temporary library?
Temporary.
No, it's permanent.
Yeah, it's always a permanent library. Yeah. The reason is, first of all, work is the only temporary library that we have here, right? And see, because it's a user-defined library, it has to be permanent, right? Because what is the use of it if it gets deleted on closing? Right, I might as well put on the work. So user-defined library is always a permanent library. And how do we create it? It is created using libname statement. So we will see what this libname statement is very soon. Okay, now we'll be going ahead with writing the codes. But before that, let's understand certain basics of writing SAS code. So have any one of you written any kind of code before?
I had Python.
Oh, great, that's nice. Anybody else?
No, we have not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be C, C++, anything, any kind of code, or SQL, anything.
No.
Okay, don't worry, not to worry, because this is like SAS coding structure is entirely different. So, basic structure of a SAS code is, there are very few rules in SAS coding, but these are, pretty simple, and one needs to keep them in mind when you're writing your SAS code. Okay. So what are these coding rules? That is, every line of SAS code ends with a semicolon. That is this, right? And every line of SAS, every line begins with a SAS keyword. Okay. So what do you mean? What is meant by a keyword? Anybody?
Just like int, char, something like that.
Correct. So basically, that word the system will understand,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you say, like, let's say int means your system understands that it's an integer. Correct. Similarly, this is like a SAS keyword. So this is something a SAS system will understand what to do with it when it encounters that word,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then uh, uh, codes are not case sensitive, so you can write it in any either uppercase or lowercase, right? And then what we have, uh, every set of codes end with none or with keyword. Don't worry, we'll be seeing each and every example of these. So it's just to give you certain basic idea of how it is, right? Uh, uh, Multiple lines of code can be multiple statements rather can be written in the same line. The same line, whereas a single statement can be split across. Single statement can be written across multiple lines. So both the ways you can do it. Yeah. So these are certain basic, fundamental things about SAS coding structure. Okay. And what is a SAS data set? So we have discussed this just a few minutes ago. A SAS data set is nothing but collection of data, right,
Mm-hmm.
in a tabular format, right? So it's a tabular collection of data. So what does this have? It has rows and it has columns. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So rows are referred to as observations in SAS and columns are called as variables. So what is meant by that is, let's say we have a data set here. Okay. So in this data set, how many columns of data are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are these called? These are called as variables. So going ahead, we are not going to refer to them as columns. I'm going to refer to them as how many variables are there. So the answer to that will be 5 variables, right? And
Mm-hmm.
similarly, the rows of data, if you see there are only 19 rows of data, so the rows of data are called as observations, right? So how many observations are there in this data set? Is 19 observations. Clear? So rows are called as observations, columns are called as variables. Okay? So now let's see how do we create a simple data set in SAS using Datalines or cards statement. So let's see how do we create a simple code in SAS. So I'm going to save this code window. As I was saying, I'll share it with you later because I'll be sharing this code window with you also. So how do you save it? Just do a save as, right? And just select wherever you want to save it. Right? And just give whatever name you want to. So, okay. So now this data set, this particular code window is saved, right? Okay. So now let's see how do we create a simple data step in SAS. So this is one more important thing. So in SAS, codes are broadly segregated into uh, a data step or a proc step. Okay. So every code in SAS, like 99% of the codes in SAS are either going to be a data step or a proc step or a combination of both. Okay. So what is a data step? A data step is used to in the process of creation and manipulation of data sets. Okay, and a proc step is used to generate reports. Okay, but this is not like 100% rule. There are exceptions to it. There are some proc steps which do manipulate data sets. Okay, so this is like most of the time. This is a general rule. Generally, a data step is used for creation and manipulation of data sets, and proc step is used for generating reports. Okay. So here, when we are saying creating a simple data set in SAS using Datalines and card statement, what step are we going to use?
Data step.
Exactly. So we are going to use a data step. So before we do that, let's see what is the data that we want to create. Okay. Can you see my Excel sheet here? Anybody? Are you able to see the Excel sheet?
We can see your studio, SAS Studio window
Oh,
also.
okay. Okay. Just a minute. Let me share my Excel sheet also. Okay. Okay. One second. One second. Yeah, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say if this is the data set that we want to create, right? We want to. So this what we have done is we have created this in Excel, right? So what did we do? We just opened Excel. We just typed in the data. So that's how it got created. Okay. So let's say if we want to do a similar thing in SAS, how do we do it? All right. So how many variables and observations are going to be there in this data set?
Three variables and okay, we
Okay.
have 4 variables and 6.
Yeah, 4 variables and
No,
how many
5.
observations?
5
5.
observations.
5 observations. Okay, there are going to be 5 observations and 4 variables in this data set. So let's see how we're going to do that. Since it's a data step, it's going to begin with the keyword data. Okay, and if you see, you will see that every code that I read, it will have different color notations. Okay, start saying which is where is it starting, where is it ending.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then I have to write the dataset name. So let's say the dataset name should be like uh, student info. Okay. Student underscore info is my dataset name. Okay, and this ends with a semicolon. And next, I'm going to write an input statement wherein I will specify which are the variables that I want to create in this dataset. So that I have to do with my input statement. So with my input statement, I specify the variable name. That is student ID. Give a space, specify name, then specify course, and then country. Okay, so these are the 4 different variables that we want to create. Am I right? And then I use my data lines and a semicolon after that. After this, I enter the data. So whatever follows after data lines are the rows of data that are going to be read into SAS. Like 101, the name is Anusha, SAS, yeah, just 102, 5. Just make sure there's only one space between each of them. Like after this, one space, after the name, one space, course, one space, and then the country. Similarly, after the name, just put one space and then the course name. Just give a space and the country. Similarly, we'll do for the rest. Right? Excel, yes, 104, Rajesh, right? SAS, yeah, 105, yes, Kishore, yeah. Okay. So here if you see, we are not following the rule of putting a semicolon at the end of each line because since we are entering the rows of data, we must not do that. So only at the end of it, I press and enter and then I give a semicolon here and I complete this code with a run statement. So now this is my code to create a data set. Alright. So you have data, then you specify the data set name, then you write input wherein you specify the variable names, and then you write data lines. After that, you follow it with the rows of data, and then you have run statement. Okay. Before we try and execute this code, there's one more important thing. So here, if you notice, student ID is a numeric value, right? Name is character, course is character, and country is character. But we have not specified which is numeric and which is character here.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we do that is, see, by default, when you don't specify anything, when you just write the names like this, variable names, SAS assumes it to be numeric variable.
Okay.
So now it is assuming all 4 are numeric variables. If you want to specify it as a character variable, then at the end of the variable name, you have to suffix it with the dollar symbol. So at the end of code, a dollar symbol, end of country, a dollar symbol. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now let's just select how do we run this code. So now we have written a code. How are we going to run it? It's going to be pretty simple. You're just going to select this code, the entire code that you want to run, and you have this run icon here on top.
Okay.
Okay, you click on this, or you can use the shortcut F3. So you just select it and press on F3, it's going to run. So pay attention, you can execute, write the code and execute it at your end in a while. When I'm running this code, you will see, so here you see my log window has been generated.
Okay.
Can you see there are no errors, there are no warnings, but there are 2 notes. What are the notes saying? So you will see this was the code that was executed. SAS dataset work.student_info has 5 observations and 4 variables. What was the total time taken? How much memory has been used? All the other information you have it here. Is that okay?
Can you just scroll down the screen, please?
Yeah.
I mean, up. You did not give it any name, right? But it is giving a name, work.studentinfo, something
I
like
did
that.
give a name. The name that we gave was student_info.
Okay. Okay.
But we didn't specify work dot.
Okay.
So we'll come to that later. By default, it will save it in work. That's a
Okay.
default library. It's a temporary library. Okay. So that's what we have in the log window. And since the data set has been created, but not a report, so result is empty and we have an output data here.
Okay.
Okay, output data if you see here. So on the left hand side, you have the columns like student ID, name, course, country, so on. And you have the attributes of each one of them. So when you select this, come to this variable and see, you will see that name, you will see this is it's a character data type. Student ID is a numeric data type. Right? So, but this particular part, this columns and properties, this won't be visible like this in your SAS Enterprise Guide or your SAS base version. It's only in SAS Studio. So this is what you will see: student ID, name, course, and country. Right. So we have created a SAS dataset for student info under work library. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So can you please try and write the same code at your end and execute it?
yeah, sure. Do you want us to do right now?
Yeah, yeah, right now.
Okay.
Just let me know once you're done executing the code, okay?
Okay. Uma, I
Yes.
just you said it is not case sensitive, right? So, I mean, if I okay, I am clear. Okay, sorry.
So even if you write it like this, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't have to be in capital, small letter, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Rajesh and Sai, I hope you're executing it at your end.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
You want to execute the same table or a different one?
You can do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just change the, if you want, you can change the names in the code. But I want you to create like 4 variables and 5 observations.
Yeah, okay. Let us do the same one.
Oops, there's something with me. I did not get it. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, can you share screen, please?
You have seen this, right? You have, is there any error in? Okay.
I can't see the screen yet. Can you share it, please?
Can you see?
Mm, not yet.
Not yet. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Now?
Not yet, Anisha.
Oh, really?
What you can do is you can just share your code with me
Yeah.
on the code window. Just copy paste the code onto the code window.
Okay, okay. I'll just check in the log window. I don't know.
No, I'll just share the code. Copy paste it.
No, I'll just paste it here.
Okay. Okay. The problem is with the dataset name. You can't do a dataset name like that. I'll come back to you as to what the rules are. Change
Oh,
it
okay.
to change it to the
This. Okay.
Is it working now when you change it?
Oh, I mean, what do you want me to put it? The same month, the student
Yeah,
info?
you just do the same one. Yeah, yeah. I'll just
Oh,
discuss the rules of it now.
okay.
So in the meantime, you can just do the same one. So Rajesh, you got it, I hope?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah, I got it now.
Yeah, so now let's come to the part of what are the rules of naming a dataset and variables. Okay, so there are certain rules that one needs to keep in mind. So obviously you saw that when you try to give a different name, it didn't work, right? So because you were not adhering to certain rules that are there of naming the dataset, so that was the reason. So the rules are pretty important and simple though. So the thing is, you data set for both data set name as well as variable name, the rules are the same. Okay, and those are it can be alphanumeric. What does it mean?
Alphabets and numbers together.
Yeah, it can be a combination of alphabets and numbers. Okay, uh, but it cannot begin with a numeric value. So now you know,
Okay.
yeah, and it cannot have any special characters except for except for underscore. So underscore is the only special character you cannot have.
Okay.
You can have no other special character. You can't have a ampersand. You can't have a space or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot have a space in it, right? So and maximum length can be up to 32 characters only. Yeah. So these are the rules that you need to keep in mind. So if you see all the we are adhering to all the rules when we are giving a variable name or a data set name, right? So you can have an underscore, but you can't have any of the special character, right? You can't even have a space. You can't have it like this. You
Okay.
can't have a period like this, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
data set name or a variable name cannot have any special character except for underscore. It cannot be spaces. It can't have. It cannot begin with a numeric value. But it can be a combination of numbers
Both.
and characters. Yeah. So I will just list out a list of data set or a variable names here. Okay. And then let's see what happens. Okay. Let's say Okay. I'll just take one of your names and you have to tell me whether it's a valid name or an invalid name. Okay, Rajesh, is this a valid name or an invalid name? The first one.
Yeah, it's a valid one. Yeah.
It's valid. Okay. Sai, valid or invalid?
Uh,
Hello?
it's invalid.
Hi?
It starts with a numeric one.
Yeah. So this Anusha, this is valid or invalid?
It's invalid.
Invalid. So this one is valid or invalid? Sai?
It's valid.
Okay. And Rajesh, valid or invalid?
Invalid one.
Why? Why is it
It
invalid?
starts with a character.
Sorry. Why is it invalid? Why is this invalid?
It has a special character and
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I can't see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, one second. Yeah, can you see it now? Yeah, it has got a
Yeah.
special character ampersand, so it is
Yeah.
invalid, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Anusha, is this valid or invalid?
It's invalid.
Okay. And this one, Sai, is this valid or invalid?
It's
It's
invalid.
a special case.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's invalid. You have mentioned that it should start with a character, right?
So Rajesh, is this valid or invalid? Quick. Anusha, is this valid or invalid?
I think it is valid. You just said it should not start with a number, but it can with the special that thing underscore. I think so.
Rajesh, valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid. Okay, we'll come back to that. So this is valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Why is it invalid?
Space.
No. Oh, yeah.
For a space in it. Yeah, that's it. So let's come back to this one. So this is underscore 123, right? So the rule is that it cannot begin with a number. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it can begin with a character value or it can begin with an underscore because underscore is a valid special character that you can use, right? So therefore this becomes a valid name.
one.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the rule about giving names. Okay. So now, one more important thing here. So what we saw is student info has got created in a work library. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So work is a temporary library. So we didn't specify that it has to go into work, but by default it went into work. Right. So we will see how do you reference libraries. But before that, for that we have to create a user-defined library. So how do we creating a user-defined library? So how do we create a user-defined library? Is by using a statement called as Libname. Okay. The syntax for this is simple. Libname is a keyword. Then you specify the library reference name. Okay. And then you specify the path. But the path has to be in quotes always. Okay. So and it has to end with a semicolon. So this is broadly how a libname statement looks like. So let's write the code that is libname, right? And we have to give a name to the library. Now again, remember the rules of naming a library reference name are same as the rules for naming a data set or a variable, except that the maximum length of the library reference name cannot be more than 8 characters.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas for a data set or library, it can be maximum 32 characters, but for your libname, it can't be more than 8 characters. So let's say we have the library name as day1. Okay. And then we have to specify the path. So where do we get this path from? So first of all, how exactly is this library going to be created? Okay, that's pretty interesting to understand. Okay, so to understand that, let me just explain how exactly this works. Can you see the window that I've opened up here?
No.
No, we can't see.
Wait a minute. Alright, now we should be able to see it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So here just open up Paint so that it's easier to explain. So let's say this is a folder, right? This is the say folder in D drive, right? On your system, right? So what do we call this folder? Let's call it as SAS SAS file folder. Alright? So we're going to call this as a SAS files folder. And then what we will have here is this is your SAS software or the system. Is that okay? So here, so basically here you have a SAS software and here you have a folder or a SAS files folder, which is called a SAS files folder, which is in your D drive. Okay, so it is basically like this. So this is my SAS, correct? This is my SAS system, and let's say here my D drive. I just create a new folder called as SAS files folder. So let's assume in this folder that we have some SAS files. Is that okay?
Yes.
Right? So the same thing I've represented on this in this picture here, right? So this is the SAS software and this is the SAS files folder. Okay. So in this folder, we are saying we have got certain SAS files. So let's say the data set that we created, student info. Let's say the data set is there in this. Okay. So now there are certain file folders here, SAS file folders here, and as in SAS files are here, and there is this SAS system is here. Am I right? So forget about the server, forget about SAS Studio, everything. Let us, in this example, let us take that your SAS system is SAS software is there within your SAS system only. I mean, in your personal system only. Okay, let's take that. Let's assume that in this case. So now there is this D drive in which I have my SAS files. Okay. Let me just take some input here so that it's easier to understand. Okay. So this SAS 7B dat, correct? These are SAS files. Am I right? So here, I just put this here. Correct? So these are my SAS files here, and this is my SAS software. Right? So now let's say, how do I connect? How do I tell SAS that these are the files that it has to work on? Right? I have to write a code in such a way there has to be some mechanism through which the software will understand that this is the location where it can find these two SAS files. Correct? So what do we do for that is we create a connection between these two things. And how do we create that connection? By using Libname statement. Yeah. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have this folder on D drive which has got SAS files, and we have a SAS software. So how do we communicate with SAS software that this is the location where it has to pick up the data sets from is by using a libname statement. Okay. So what are the parts that your libname statement is having? Libname statement is having the libname keyword, correct? Right? And then it is having the name of it. So this is the name which it will recognize within SAS.
Okay.
Correct? In your SAS, what it recognizes is it recognizes the library reference name, right? And your system, your this particular computer, how does it recognize this? It recognizes through a path. Right? So in this case, let's say the path is, d colon whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how your libname statement will connect up your folder which is having SAS files with the SAS system. Is this part clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now if this is clear, let's move ahead, take one step ahead. So currently we do not have a access to this particular D drive because we are using the SAS which is there on server. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we have to do if we want these files? If I want these files, I have to first upload this into my server. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so what should I do for that is let's do this simple exercise. So go to my server, files and folders. Here, let me just create under my content a new folder called as ABC new. Okay, I'll just create this folder. Right? So now this is empty if you see. So here
Mm-hmm.
I want to upload these files if I want to access these. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I go here, I just select these two files and I upload it here. So I've opened the files, I click on upload. So these two have got uploaded here. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So here is my folder. This is not there within SAS. This is a folder which is there in my server. Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It is just that here you're able to see it. That is all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in this folder I have two SAS files. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's see how do I create a library to this folder. So libname day1, right? What is going to be the path? The path is going to be that of this folder. I go to properties, I copy this path. Okay? Just wait. If you're not understanding, don't worry. I'll give you time. I'll explain it again. So libname day1 is a library reference name, and this is the path which it is going to. This is the path to the folder which it is going to make it its library. Okay. So let's see how this works. So just select this code and run it. Yeah, here you will not have, you will just have a log window which says libref day1 was successfully assigned as follows. So the library has been created. How do we check that? Libraries, under libraries I have day1. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it is having these two files.
Oh,
Clear?
can you just show me the code once?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll just make it a little more clear to you by doing some other activity here. So this is a folder. Let's say I want to upload one more file, which is a non-SAS file. So let's go here and say, let's upload this account and employee, which are XLS files. Okay. And I'll upload one, I've uploaded two Excel files. I'll upload one continents, which is a SAS file. It's a SAS 7 BDAT file. Okay. So here comes, okay. Yeah. So these three files, I'm uploading two Excel files and one SAS file. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I upload it, how many files is this ABC new folder going to have?
5.
Yeah. So it's going to account.xls, continents, employee, United States, US city codes. There are 5 files, out of which how many are SAS files?
2. Oh, sorry,
Three.
3.
3 SAS files and 2 Excel files. Correct? So
Mm-hmm.
this library has been created now, right? Hmm? I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to rerun it. Now, in your library, day one, how many files are going to be there? How many files will you see?
2.
Okay. Okay.
3.
3. Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, does it get auto updated? I'm not sure about if it gets auto updated, then it's 5 or else 2.
Okay. 5, 2. Okay. Somebody said 3. Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, 3. We go for 3.
Okay. Yeah. So let's just go to libraries, right? So this gets auto-updated, or else you can use the refresh button. I'm using a refresh button, and you will see you will have only 3 files. Why? Because
Oh,
a library is just a collection of SAS datasets. No
okay,
matter
okay.
how many other files you have in this folder, it will not read. It will read only the SAS datasets. Okay, because the other two files are Excel files,
Okay.
so it can't read it. Is the concept of a library clear now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it clear as to how do we create a library?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it's see, this is very simple basic things, but it's very important to understand how these simple things work.
Okay.
Yeah, conceptually you must be clear with it.
Okay. Okay. If you want to create a library first, it should be stored in the server, and then library should be created, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that is like in this case. So in case, let me tell you. Now I have created a library. I'll ask you to create a library now, which is create a library called. Okay, you name it. It is left up to you. Just create a library with whichever name you want to, right? To the uh, folder. Uh, okay, to the folder external files.
Okay.
Can you just write a code to do this, please? You can try writing this code and then execute it, and then write a code to create this library to the folder external files.
Just a minute.
Sure.
We don't have a SAS file right now, right?
That's okay. That doesn't matter. Don't
Okay.
worry about that. Just create a library. Doesn't matter if the size file is there in that or not there.
Okay.
External files is a folder which is there under my content. So you can go there, right click and copy the path.
There's a pop-up window. It is asking for recreate this library at startup. What does that mean?
Because this library is already created, no? So that's the reason it's asking you want to recreate. Can you just share your screen?
Uh, okay. I think this one. Can you see it?
One sec. I somehow can't see your screen, Anisha.
You can't see mine.
I can see Sai student's screen, but I somehow can't see yours.
I don't know why.
It's okay. So, what is it saying?
Okay, what I did is first, uh, to my left hand side there are two called folder shortcuts and files. So right click
Okay.
on
So, what
files.
you do is, you don't have to do anything much. Just go to external files, like here. Go to external files, right click, go to properties. Just go to properties and copy the path. That is all.
Okay.
Okay, just go to
We
external
don't
files.
we don't need to add a file for that.
No, no, nothing. Just
Yeah.
to this folder only. Right click, go to properties, copy the path and use it.
But I don't have that external files. I just have
Okay,
my
go to
courses and
Okay, can you see my content? Like, can you see Uma 0
Yes,
there?
yes, I have these
Click-
two. Okay.
Yeah, click on Uma 0.
1 second. Oh, okay, yeah.
Inside you'll have my content. Under that you'll have external file.
Yes, I have now.
Okay, so just right click and
Yeah, it shows
copy,
me that I
copy.
have got 2 errors. Class
Okay, let me just look into the screen. Class 1 is not a valid format.
Yeah.
Okay, go to your code window.
Uh,
Libname. Okay, see the reason is unselected. See, you have to have it only as external files. You have even written cast underscore db.sas7bdat.
okay.
That part has to be removed, right? That is a file, specific file name. Just go to this line of code and delete this. Huh. Just keep the external files.
That's it.
Okay, now you must have a semicolon at the end of the line.
Semicolon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now you run this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now go
Yeah.
to your library. There you should have class 1.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah. And under that, if there are any SAS files, it will show the SAS file. Okay.
Yeah. Class
Yeah.
1 doesn't have any. I mean,
Under class 1, these are the different files.
okay.
Class 1 was the name of the library that you gave.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Mm.
So
All the
within
files
that,
in the external files came to the class 1, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
basically they have not come. You just referenced it.
Yeah. Okay. I
You're
got.
just saying
Yeah.
that read this folder.
Mm-hmm.
So when you read that folder as a library, it will read only SAS datasets. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah. Anusha, were you able to create it?
Yes, actually.
Okay, don't worry. Take your time, execute it.
I'm just looking why I cannot share my screen. Can you see it now?
1 minute. So basically, you can see a black screen. It can't see anything. Sai Kiran Sai Kiran, are you able to see Anusha's screen?
No, I too not able to see.
Uh, yeah.
Now?
Not yet. Which system are you on? What is the? But I believe the other day I was able to see your screen. In the demo
Yes,
session.
yes, just a moment. Give me 1 second now. Can you see now?
Yes, I can see it now. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it's created.
Yes, this is the code.
Oh, I can't see it again.
You
Now
can.
I can see. Now I can see. Now I can see. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, good. So is it clear how to create a library using a
Yeah.
Libname statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me just write a code for this. It's Libname. I can just give. Just make sure you adhere to the rules. So can I give the name as session 123? Is this valid name?
But the length is, I don't think, you said the length should be only 8 characters, right?
8 characters.
Yeah, so it is an invalid name. It's in files, I think the properties, just copy the path, and also you can have single quotes or double quotes, as long as you start and end with the same thing. So I can have the
Now
session one.
let's,
Yeah. So run this. So it says it's been successfully created. So when I go to libraries, I'll have session one, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you create a library. Okay.
Okay.
So now that we have created a library, we'll see the one way and two-way referencing. So what does that mean, or rather, what does that mean is that now we created a data set, right? Earlier, we created a data set called student info,
Yeah.
correct? So we had created a data set called as student info, which is student info. Okay. So by default, it got saved into Word. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is called as one-way naming. So when you don't specify anything, right? One-way naming or referencing, right? It's just the data set name. Okay. Okay. The data set name. Okay. So by default refers to work library, which is a temp library.
Temporary.
Correct? So if you don't want it to refer to a work library, then you'll have to use a two-way name. Two-way naming to refer to any permanent library. Okay, it is this rule is valid when you're reading a library a data set as well as when you're writing a data set also. Okay, so what does this two-way name mean is it is always lib libref name dot. It's all you have to always have a period after library reference name, then the dataset name. So this is a two-way naming. So when I say if I want to save student info into my day one, I have to write it as day one dot student underscore info. Got it? So when you say student underscore info, day one dot student underscore info, then this dataset is going to be written into this library, or it is going to be read from this library, depending on the scenario. Right?
okay.
So if I write session one dot student underscore info, then this is going to be read or written in from this library. If I write work dot student underscore info, then it's going to be written or read from this. But by default, if you don't write this also, like if you just write student underscore info, here the library is day one, here the library is session one, here the library is work, here the library is again work. Is this clear?
Okay.
So if the same data set we wanted to create this into let's say day one, I have to write as day one dot. Okay. So now when I run this, let me just rewrite this code again so that you have a copy of this. Okay. So I'm just here, I'm going to write it as day1 dot. Right. So when I run this code now, the dataset is created, but you will see it will be going to be there in day one, student underscore info or student info. Yeah. So that is what is one-way naming or two-way naming. Okay. So that's the first simple thing about creating a data set, and certain basic things about how a SAS code looks like, and what is a SAS library, how do you create a user-defined library, right? So that's about it. I think we'll close the session for now.
Okay.
Okay. So, but before that, I'll just leave you with a simple question for you to solve for before tomorrow's session. Okay. So, uh, create a data set called uh, emp underscore db with the following variable and observations. Okay. So I'll write it here as to what my data set should look like, and I want you to write a code to create this data set. Okay. And let this be in J1 library.
Okay.
So let's say there has to be an EMP ID, there has to be an EMP name, and there has to be department, and then there has to be region. Let's say salary, designation. Okay, so these are the different values, variables that I want you to have, and 101, 102, 3, 104, 05, 106, 107. Okay, seven observations. So you can give whatever name, department, region, salary, and designation you want.
Okay.
Okay, is this clear?
Yeah.
So I just want you to write a code uh, for the next session. Okay, and any doubts in today's session so far?
And
Okay, go ahead, Sai, go ahead.
yeah, mine is not a doubt. I just want to know how can I get all this data? How can I again recollect the class?
Okay, the thing is now this entire session has been recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, so you must share if you can share your Gmail IDs with me, then I can give you the access to this video. So through your Gmail ID, you will be able to check out this video on YouTube. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is, at the end of the class, I'll be sharing this entire code window with you. So, I just put it onto a Word document,
Okay.
and I'll share it with you. So you will have the question, the notes, and everything else. So that's one way of revising. And the other thing is, since you have access to SAS Studio, you can enter and log in and open this particular code window, November 4th batch SAS.
Okay.
So here you will have the notes and everything. But easier way will be that I'll be sharing a Word document with you. So it's easier for you to reference that and, work on your own codes. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, go
you,
ahead.
can I?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
It's you said that SAS is generally analyzing a data, right? But why are we creating the data now? Actually,
Now,
we analyze the data which is already present, right?
correct, correct. That's a good question. The thing is, in real life, whatever code we have written here, right, in today's class, you will never be writing a code like this. Never ever, for that matter. The reason we are still trying to learn how we are going to do this is for a simple thing as to understand what are the different data types in SAS. Like now, through this, you got to know there are two different data types. That is numeric data, character data. And
Oh.
now you got to know how do you reference to a permanent library, how do you reference to a work library. What are the rules of naming a dataset name or a variable name? You know, certain such basic things. In order to understand these things, we are using this code. But in
Oh.
real time, you will not be creating a dataset. So even in the further classes, you will not be creating dataset. You will be just using like this dataset is already there, right? So you will be using this dataset to analyze something, trying to sort it, or trying to manipulate the data or something of that sort,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what we'll be doing. But again, this thing is still important from a point of view of understanding the basic concepts.
And the other thing is, I have two more things actually.
Yes.
So, where do you want us to give you our IDs? And
Uh, you can just, if you guys don't have my email ID, is it? I'll just share it with you. I'll just put it on the chat window. It's Uma @ LearnAnalytics.in. Just drop me your email from your Gmail.
okay.
So I will revert to you with the course content, I mean the Word document and the link to the YouTube video.
And other thing is, for every session, do you email us the link or the same one?
No, no, every session will be a different link. And
Okay.
I think going ahead, if you share your email IDs, I'll be sharing the invite to you. So the moment I share the session invite,
Okay.
simultaneously you'll be getting a link to the YouTube also.
Uh,
So at the end of the class, you can automatically just click to that once it is uploaded.
I
So
mean,
it will take about half an hour to upload since it's like a 2 hour class.
mm,
So after 2 hours, when you click on it, you'll be able to view the YouTube.
no, no, no. My question is about the next session. Today, I had to call Nanda and take the link. So
Oh,
how
okay.
would
Not to
I
worry.
was
So
asking?
the thing is, just share your email ID. I can mail it directly to you guys only.
Oh, okay,
I'll put
that's
the
what
link
my
to you.
point. Uh-huh.
You know, so I'll mail it to Nanda as well as you guys. So you
Okay.
can receive it. I usually mail the invite like 15 minutes before the class.
Yeah, yeah,
So
okay.
so it'll be easier.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that's all.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, Uma. Thank you so
Any other
much.
doubts? Sai, Rajesh,
Yeah.
is it clear?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and at any point of time, feel free to stop me to ask your doubts. And any point of time you want me to like give you extra time to work on something else, some more
Oh,
examples or anything, just feel free. The more we discuss and talk, the easier and better the classes will be.
mm,
Okay,
okay.
and you can share your feedback with me at any given point of time. You don't have to wait for certain things to get over and then discuss. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah,
Have
thank
a
you so
good day.
much. I'm sure it's quite late already there. So thank you so much. Good night, guys. So see you
Thank you.
on Saturday now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So Saturday same time. And I had shared a course schedule outline also with
Okay.
Nanda. So once you share your email ID, I'll share it with you guys as well, so that you have a
Oh,
broad idea as to when we are going to do what.
okay.
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 Okay. Okay.
Thank
So
Bye
you.
bye.
Have a
thank
Good
good
you.
night.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.